The views, information, opinions expressed during the show are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of Voices, the individual's employers, organization, committee, or other group or individuals. This is Voices, a space where we get to bravely share our truth, stories, experiences, and art. A ton of dope people who will motivate you, make you cry, make you laugh, bring some hope into your life, but just maybe they'll share something interesting enough to help you find your voice. Welcome to Voices. Ready. Hey guys, I'm Rosado. Welcome to Voices. Today I am joined by a special guest, Michelle. Michelle, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I'm your friend, right?
Yes, my friend.
My name is Michelle Reed, and I am happily married to my best friend of 2 years and have a 19-year-old daughter who just is now going into, she finished her freshman year, so that's crazy. And then I also have a 13-year-old daughter who's starting her freshman year in high school. Mm-hmm. And then we'll just age gap jump to a 7-year-old stepdaughter, but I like to call her a bonus daughter because I kind of feel like bonus daughters fits in because she's very sweet, who's going to be turning 8 soon. So we have a full house. My husband is overtaken by girls, but we have fun.
Yes.
And yeah.
So Michelle is a mom.
Yep, I'm a mom. I work for the state of Michigan, and I'm very involved at my church.
Yes. Yeah. So Michelle, the reason why I have you here as my special guest to interview is I know a lot about your life and your journey, but you're somebody with a compromised immune system who has lived through COVID. Yep. And had a traumatic experience with COVID. But so let's start off with a little bit about MS. What is MS? How old were you when you found out you got it? Walk me through that whole story.
So MS is a neurological disease where your body's attacking your own body with the myelin coating. Like all of our nerves have this myelin coating. So when the myelin coating starts to go away, which normally, if you don't have MS, it wouldn't do that. If you have MS, the coating goes away. So then other nerves hit it and kind of does a short circuit, basically. Mm-hmm. And then causes your body to do things, not cooperate. And there's a wide variety. Some people it affects their walking, eyesight, all kinds of issues going on, but thankfully, because of research and stuff, it's come a long way. There's no cure yet, but there is a lot of disease modifying to slow it down. So, but it was 2010, then I got diagnosed, but our family already had experience because my current husband was diagnosed right before we got married at 19 with MS. And at that point, there wasn't any good medicines out really that didn't have really huge side effects, like suicide attempts and all that. So we decided not to do them. So I knew about it. I've been a caretaker for him, and he had his good days and bad days because there's 3 to 4 kinds of MS. There's relapsing, remitting, primary, progressive. There's one more I can't think of right now, but. So he would go in and out of it, have great years and then snap back. So then one day, 2010, I woke up and noticed that I fell asleep on the couch that night. And I thought, okay, well, my right side of my body just fell asleep numb because I laid the wrong way. So then that didn't go away. And then the shower started hurting and the cold metal hitting my legs started hurting, and I was just like, no, this cannot be happening. We already have one person with this, So after many, many tests and great doctors, I did get diagnosed as well with multiple sclerosis, which is very unusual that both of us had it. So it was a big shocker, but thankfully we do now have a lot more medicines, and I go every 6 months for an infusion to help me do what I do. Yeah.
So it started off with you sleeping on the couch, you wake up, you can't feel some of your body.
Yeah.
Then you're in the shower and it hurts.
Yeah.
And so you just woke up one day.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So they found out that I had it's like little lesions. It can cause little lesions, and I had a size of an egg lesion in my neck, and that was pressing down on a lot of my nerves. So I had to do occupational therapy and all that to get back on track.
How painful is MS? Like, walk us through your life. What is it like?
I think for each person it's different.
Okay.
Like, I know some people that are, my ex, he passed away, but when he lived in a nursing home, like, not all his life, but there was a lot of things. He affected his eyesight and everything like that. My eyesight, thankfully, has never been affected. My legs hurt a lot. If I stand on them too long, my legs will hurt. Like if I push myself and I start cleaning the house, and it's all about knowing your limit and how, like, oh, I better stop and take a break, and being okay with that. That, I don't have to be super mom, or, my house doesn't have to look like Good Housekeeping or something like that, just being real and understanding that. But I've always decided that I am not going to be defined by MS. I want to be known as Michelle who happens to have MS.
Love that.
But not Michelle with MS.
Copy that.
So,
Love
yeah.
that. And you have a lot of personality and style.
Yeah, thanks.
We know for others.
Well, I had Overcomer put on me because I always wanted to be known as an overcomer. I want my girls to grow up thinking my mom was an overcomer, not a victim. I'm not denying the fact that it's not there. I'm not denying the fact that I need to take responsibility for my health. I just don't want to be known as
Labeled as just that.
Yeah.
Labeled as an overcomer.
Yeah.
Speaking of overcomer, COVID.
Yeah. That was a doozy.
COVID. Let's start off with when COVID first came about and people were talking about it. The concerns were people who had compromised immune systems, and you're someone that's in that category.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling? And then walk me through.
How was I feeling then?
Yeah, how are you feeling then? How are you feeling when that first kind of came about and you're hearing that, and you're someone who doesn't like labels at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous, but I was determined not to be fearful.
Totally.
And I actually went home from work, and they were like, okay, since you have a compromised immune system, we really need to watch out for you, especially. And because I've always been open with my MS, and I was like, okay, and I did all the precautions of wearing a mask, staying inside, not being in big gatherings, all that, and did all the things I was supposed to do. And then it came knocking on the door. And just one day I woke up and I was like, oh, crap, this is not good. Like, I could feel something coming on. And I was like, I'm going to go get tested. So I went and got tested. And the next day we got the results. Between then and the next day, my heart rate was up. My chest was hurting. My back was hurting. A lot of pain in my back. And I just was like, I gotta go into the hospital. So then I went into the hospital. They asked, at that time they were asking, are you COVID positive or negative? And I said positive. And so you get escorted to a direct room, So at that point, I didn't know that was the last time I was going to see my husband for a while. And because no people can come in with you.
Yeah.
So they pulled my blood and found out certain levels were not good.
Yeah.
And so they double checked that I was COVID positive. And then after that, they found that I had pneumonia because pneumonia on top of COVID is really is what really is hard on people. It's usually not just COVID. That's not a doctor's opinion, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah,
you know, and I never really knew that, I guess, from all the news and stuff. They really didn't talk about COVID on top of pneumonia, or yeah. And so they said I had pneumonia, and so they said you're getting admitted, and yeah.
And so you say, you know, you went in, you didn't know that you were going to be gone for as long as you were. How long were you in the hospital
I
for?
was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Yeah.
But your situation was pretty dire because they had like wiring in your chest. Well,
I had so I had lung fluid around my lungs. So they had to put a chest tube in my back and pull the extra liquid out. And if that didn't work, then it was going to be a major surgery. But thankfully, it did what it was supposed to do. The hard thing is, like, when they were putting that chest tube in, like, I didn't have my husband there. I didn't have anybody close by. That I had to rely on the nurses and the staff, which were great, but they weren't that person that you want there next to you, you know. So it was a lot of isolation. There's no noises out in the hallway like normal. The window was closed on one side. You open it, it was a wall. It was a white wall outside, so I couldn't see even the sky, you know. And just, I woke up the first night after being in the ER just having a panic attack and calling the nurse and saying, I felt like I'd gotten forgotten. And she calmed me down, said that's normal, you know, everything. And so it was a lot, but, you know, day by day got better. I had a lot of good support system. And
you had a Marco Polo group.
I had a Marco Polo
We had a Marco Polo group messaging you,
Yes.
family, friends, people from church.
I was like, I don't care if you tell me what you had for lunch. Like, I need to hear that there's a world outside of this hospital right now, you know, because you feel like so isolated.
So you totally are an overcomer. And I already know this about you, but the reason why I have you here is I think when people are in desperate times and places, and I can only imagine the desperation, like you're there, you know, isolated, unsure, afraid. What is the mindset to overcome that?
In that moment, I think it was like a day at a time, a moment at a time even. Like sometimes like just get through this moment, get through this day, you know, focus on listening to good songs, focus on anything that's good, you know, focus on the people that are waiting for you outside and you know, focus on the fact that you have daughters that are waiting. I am not gonna go down, be at this, you know. It almost became okay, good try. Let's get this done. You're not keeping me down kind of thing, you know?
That hit me, yeah.
So I guess that's what my mindset was. Now, once I got home, it was another battle because then I felt like I don't like using the word PTSD a lot because a lot of people throw that out and I think it's a really serious situation, but I was afraid to go to sleep. I was afraid to lay on my right side where they took the chest tube out. I was afraid to I was freaked out about going anywhere. And I found myself just can't sleep. I had to take some sleeping medicine to help me sleep. And, you know, it took a lot just to go down the hall the first day I did laundry again was a big win, you know, little things that you think are normal became huge wins. And then, you know, I don't know why I did this, but I would read about other people's COVID situations and somebody would die or something. And I'm then I would have survivor's guilt, you know,
wow.
And so it's not just in the hospital, it's after you get home from hospital.
It's another battle.
And then I recently had another surgery and I really was freaked out about going to the hospital. I was and I kept just having to tell myself, this is different, this is scheduled, you know. But when the nurse was like, would you like us to close the door for the noise? Nope, keep them open. I want to hear the noise, you know, just a different, your mindset shifts.
I think there's a couple of different people that you can offer wisdom and advice to, and that's kind of what this show is about, encouraging people to make it through whatever hardship they're in. So first, let's speak to maybe those who have maybe on the other side of any sickness, any person that has a dire sickness, something that's scary, and then on the other side of it, who may be relating to you, what is one piece of advice you'd want to give them?
I think the biggest piece is surrounding themselves with a great support system. I couldn't have done it without the good friends. Now, I am a firm believer that I really feel, and I've tried to teach this to my daughters, that you have like probably 3 to 5 good friends that Pastor Erica says, you can call up at 2 in the morning and you know that they'll drop everything and come. They'll listen to your pity party and go, I relate, I'm sorry, that sucks, but get over it. After they'll let you do it for about 15 minutes or so, and then they're like, move, you need to get up, like shake it off, But those are the great friends, the great friends that look at you and say, this is really happening in your life. I think you can have friends. I just think I try to say, like, there's friends, there's acquaintances. I can't. Yes, that. But there's just a handful that you keep close to you, and those are the people that don't mind getting dirty. You can call them up and say, today sucked, and they validate your feelings, because sometimes it's just validating somebody and I think validating your feelings of you facing MS or cancer or Alzheimer's or whatever I think that is legit, and you need to do it. And I think sometimes in society we go, oh, that stings, let's keep moving. Like, no, you can sit there and go through a grieving process to figure out, but then put on your fighting boots.
That's good. Put on your fighting boots. That leads to my next question. Okay, so we have those that are in the middle of it, in the thick of it. Then those that are supporting friends or family, which you know that role, and then you've been on the receiving end. What advice would you give to those people that are supporting their loved ones?
I think coming through my life, I've learned that there's some people, if they don't know what to do for you, they withdraw. They disappear. And then you feel rejected or something like that, right? But it's not because they don't love you, it's because they don't know what to do. So they pull away. That's the last thing somebody like us needs. We need you to ask questions. Look, if you really want to help me, look up what MS is. Or, don't come to me and tell me your aunt or uncle died of MS. That's just not helpful, right? But if you want to help, then offer up some suggestions. Just check on them once in a while, see what you can do. But another thing I would suggest is if you need anything, let me know. That is so general. That's just so general. And I'm like, to me, I'm specific. Like, okay, what does that mean to you in your life? Can you bring me groceries? Can you watch my kids? Can you take me to the doctor's appointment? So if you can only do those things, that's great. Offer those things up. Figure out what you can offer before you offer it.
That's so good.
Then, as a person that's in the place of needing something,
you know what to ask
I know
for.
what I can ask for instead of I don't want to ask you to go get my groceries if you don't have a working car. I need boundaries. What's the anything, that you're offering?
Anything you're offering?
What does that mean? So that's
so
always
good.
been kind of like a motto for me, to be like, okay.
That's a light bulb moment for me a little bit. I'm serious, as I think, you try to be helpful, but that's
Don't withdraw. Be their friend. They're who they are. It's just that they have another mountain to climb.
Yeah. My next question might be a little challenging.
Oh.
What is the biggest thing that you think you've learned in this journey of life? I think these are all things that are unexpected, that we don't plan for. And you on this side of the story, it looks like you've handled it beautifully, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. We're hearing more about the process behind the scenes, but what is the thing you think you've learned about yourself in this journey?
How thankful I am for the foundation that was built in my life. That without the faith that I was raised on, without the friendships that were built my, landing spot, I don't know where I would have been, and how important that is, and like taking time to enjoy those things and be okay with enjoying stuff.
Ooh.
It doesn't have to, like, when you're so used to having bad things happen over and over and over again. I had somebody say, Michelle, you don't know what to do when something good happens to you. And I was like, actually, that's true. And so it's like, or if something good happens, I'm waiting for the bad to fall.
Ooh.
And just to relax and allow, I'm a believer, so, God to love on me, and, just to relax and enjoy life and take it slow and, be who you are and find out who you are if you don't know who you are,
If people want to get involved,
Yeah.
how can they get involved and help with MS?
Well, I know like I'm not the only person with MS, so I'm sure if you're on your Facebook social media site, there's going to be somebody who has MS and is raising money. And I hate asking for money, but even if you come out and walk and you donate maybe $5, it doesn't really matter. It's just the fact that when you go to those walks, and they're just now reinstating them because of COVID, like Alzheimer's, my husband's grandpa died of Alzheimer's, so we're going to be doing the Alzheimer's walk. It is just, it's the inspiration you get from the unity that you're not alone.
Oh,
And
that's
so doing those walks, even it usually takes an hour or two in the morning, and you're done. And like that means like, oh, you're walking with me, you're being there with me, you're in this, you're acknowledging that what I'm dealing with is, and we have usually shirts that say, I'm walking for my mom, I'm walking for myself, I'm walking for my dad. And, so I just, that's the best way, I think, to get involved.
So the best way to get involved is to do a walk or connect with someone and just be a part of what they're going through. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Love you.
Love you too.
This episode of Voices has been brought to you by Blue Owl Coffee and Vision Success Marketing and Consulting.